Clara Medeiros was known in Ouro Preto for her quiet elegance and meticulous routine. She lived alone in an old house perched atop a hill surrounded by trees. As a literature professor, she spent her days between rare books and long sunset strolls. Few knew that Clara collected more than just books. She collected voices. Voices that whispered to her at night when everything was silent. Voices that seeped from the walls, from the bathroom mirror, from empty rooms. On July 14th, 1998, Clara vanished without a trace. The police found her front door unlocked, the kettle still warm on the stove, and a handwritten note: "I am not alone. I never was." The investigation revealed no signs of violence, no footprints, no witnesses. The case was quickly shelved. To many, Clara had gone mad. Others believed there was something more ominous behind her disappearance. 20 years later, Daniel Santos, a young writer seeking inspiration, decided to rent Clara's house. He had heard rumors of the case since childhood and saw an opportunity to write his first novel based on real events. From the first night, Daniel felt something was amiss. Footsteps came from the attic at 3 a.m. The hallway light flickered always at the same time, and the mirror in the master bedroom fogged over with phrases he didn't recall writing. Driven by unease, Daniel began to search the house. He found a box behind a false wall in the basement filled with old diaries. They were Clara's journals, brimming with cryptic notes and circular drawings of unknown symbols. In one diary, Clara wrote she heard the voice of her dead grandmother saying the house was a doorway between worlds and that she was chosen to cross. She spoke of mirrors, rituals, and dreams where she wandered in timeless places. Fascinated, Daniel decided to test the rituals described. On one midnight, he did exactly as Clara had written, lit candles in front of the mirror, recited Latin words, and placed Edgar Allan Poe's book on the table. The mirror vibrated, and for a second, Daniel saw a face, Clara's, peering back. It wasn't a reflection. It was as if she was trapped on the other side. "Help me," she whispered, and the glass cracked. In the following days, Daniel couldn't sleep. He dreamed of dark places, endless corridors, and Clara walking through them. The house seemed to watch him. Everything grew colder. Even time seemed to move differently. Determined to free Clara, Daniel sought help and found references to Ordo Umbri, a secret 19th century sect studying interdimensional communication through mirrors. One of its founders had lived in that house. Daniel attempted one final ritual, hoping to bring Clara back, but something went wrong. He managed to open it, the door between worlds, but along with Clara, something else emerged. Something that didn't belong on this side. The Clara who returned was no longer human. Her eyes were hollow, and her presence dimmed all surrounding light. She walked through the house, murmuring, "He freed me. Now I am part of him, and he part of me." Daniel vanished 2 days later. The mirror in the bedroom was found completely covered from inside, as if someone had painted the other side black. The police, once again, couldn't explain it. Today, the house remains empty, but neighbors swear they hear two voices conversing at night, one male, one female. They say it's Clara, still trapped there, and Daniel, who opened the right door, the wrong way. Road 47 cuts through a forgotten stretch between two small towns in the Brazilian mountains. It's narrow, surrounded by dense forest, and cloaked in constant mist. Those who travel there at night tend to speed up, not from fear of the road itself, but because of the house at kilometer 12. It's small, it's what darkened by time, seemingly abandoned. But the porch light, they say, never goes out. Despite no visible wiring and no known residents, the legend tells that nobody enters and leaves unchanged, and if they leave at all. In October 2007, a couple on a journey, Marina and Eduardo, decided to stop for help. Their car had broken down, and there was no cell signal. The only structure around was the house. The door was ajar, and a smell of mold and wet earth enveloped them as they crossed the threshold. They called out, but no one answered. Even so, they entered. It was as if something pulled them inside. The living room was intact. Old furniture, an extinguished fireplace, and photos on the walls. Black and white portraits of people with faces scratched out. A kettle was boiling in the kitchen, though there was no fire. Eduardo wanted to leave, but Marina pointed upstairs. Someone's there. Her voice sounded different, distant, against his will. He climbed with her, step by step, to the last room at the end of the hall. The door was locked from the outside. Eduardo forced the handle until he heard a crack. Inside, only a mirror, but it did not reflect. Instead, it showed a scene, both of them lying lifeless on the house floor. Eduardo recoiled. Marina, however, approached the mirror as if greeting an old friend. "I remember now," she murmured. "We've been here before." He couldn't understand. It was their first time on the road. Then the mirror cracked. On the other side, something moved, a dark silhouette, faceless, imitating Marina's gestures. She extended her hand. The shadow did too. When their fingers touched, the house lights went out. Eduardo screamed. He rushed down the stairs, stumbling over his own feet. The front door had vanished, replaced with a brick wall. The windows were sealed. The air grew heavier by the second. When he managed to open a trapdoor at the back, he rolled through the forest. Behind him, he heard Marina's voice, or something that sounded like her, whispering, "You'll come back. Everyone comes back." He was found by a truck driver hours later, walking barefoot by the roadside. Disoriented, wide-eyed, he only repeated, "She stayed there. She wanted to stay." The police never found the house. They returned to kilometer 12 dozens of times, but there was nothing there but trees and a dangerous curve. Marina was never seen again. Eduardo spent the following years institutionalized, compulsively writing on loose sheets. On every one, he drew the same symbol, a cracked mirror with a faceless figure behind. Today, travelers still claim to see the house, but only appears to some, always at dusk, always with the light on. Those who enter rarely leave, and those who leave never forget. Road 47 remains silent, ignored on maps. But those who know it, know. The haunting isn't the path, but the house that chooses who can see it, and who will never leave again.